second week of November and I'm still riding. I'm as shocked as anyone else is. Didn't expect the season to extend as far as it has, but I'm going to take every available day that I can. I just wanted to bring up a topic today that's been kind of a not a hot topic issue, but something that's been talked about a lot in the gaming industry as far as whether to upgrade to the PlayStation 4 Pro if you have a standard one, whether the 4K is actually 4K and if it's worth it overall to purchase one or make the upgrade, because the standard system is now $300 and the PS4 Pro is $400. I can't comment on the Xbox One S or the upcoming Scorpio because I don't really follow it as much. I'm not much of a Xbox gamer. Probably will never buy one. I have my reasons for it. I'm not going to sit here and make a video bashing Xbox or Microsoft, but I just prefer the games and the system that Sony puts out more. But with that said, I did upgrade my PS4 to the PS4 Pro. I originally bought the PS4 in 2013 when it launched, and when I learned more about the Pro and the benefits of it and everything else, I decided to get that as well. I picked it up the day that it launched on the 10th, so I've had it just a few days now. And as far as whether it's worth it or not, it kind of depends. If you have a 4K TV in HDR and you like the top of the line stuff, then yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you have a standard, I don't even know if there's any 720 TVs left, not that you can buy. You still might have an old system that's not 1080p, but I honestly think if you just have a 1080p TV, even though Sony says that it will offer enhancements and upgrades over what you visually see in 1080p, I don't really think it makes too much of a difference. Personally, I have noticed a difference. I have a Samsung JU7500 65-inch curved TV I bought last spring, and while it was 4K, it did not have HDR at the time, but Samsung recently put out an update, so my TV does have HDR now where it didn't before, and I upgraded the 10-bit panel, which I'm glad I did originally when I bought it, because I kept hearing that HDR really is not noticeable unless you have a 10-bit panel, which are what the more expensive systems or the more expensive TVs are, like the JU 8500 series and the 9500 series are all 10-bit screens. So I'm glad I did get that upgrade for mine. It was a few hundred more, and I did the update on my TV. If anyone does have this TV and you've done that update, the JU7500, there's a settings option that you have to change to actually turn the HDR on. I won't go into detail about that now, but if you do have this TV or know someone that has it and want more information on where to find the setting to actually turn the HDR on, leave a comment and I'll let you know where to find it. I've played a few games, one that was made as an update for the PS4 Pro, and one that was an older game that was not built for it. The two games are Tomb Raider and Destiny. Destiny is the older game. It's not updated with HDR as far as, well, it did get the HDR upgrade, but it did not get the build for the PS4 Pro as an update. Tomb Raider, on the other hand, did. It, as far as how it looks, I can't compare to how it looks before on the standard PS4 or before the update was added, because I bought the game, I went on my vacation, and I didn't play the game until I bought the PS4 Pro. But I will say that graphically is probably the best looking game that I played. Up until now it was Uncharted 4, which is another game that also got the update, but I haven't played that yet, so I haven't been able to see the differences between the two. And it's not It's not just regular gameplay. The cinematic scenes are where you really see the difference, where the 4K comes into effect. You really see the detail and the sharpness of everything. There's a lot of talk about the PS4 Pro not really being 4K, that it's not native 4K, and that's true to a point. The system is capable of doing 4K gaming if the developer uses the power of the system to do that. I think what we'll see a lot of is a lot of games running in standard 180p at 60 frames per second, where right now games on the PS4 are having a hard time reaching 60 frames a second and running at 1080p at the same time. It's been kind of a struggle. But with the Pro, that's not a problem at all. But if a developer wants to take all the power that the system has and make a game in native 4K to run at 30 frames per second, it's more than capable of doing that. So don't go out and buy the Pro thinking that everything that you buy for a game is going to automatically be 4K, because that's not the case. Moving forward, there are definitely games that are going to take advantage of this, games that are going to be made specifically for the PS4 Pro's 4K abilities, and they will take advantage of that. And older games do look better. Destiny is 3 years old now. Its age is showing as far as its graphics. When the game came out, it looked phenomenal, but now after playing Tomb Raider and Uncharted 4, it's definitely lacking in the graphics department. But even with playing it on the Pro and the HDR update, things look more colorful and more crisp. The graphics aren't necessarily better, but the picture and the image looks better. So I guess there's a better way to describe it, is because it will upscale games, but you're not going to get 4K if it wasn't built for the system. You're going to get a better visual appearance of the game, but the graphics themselves are not going to be substantially better than what the game was already built upon before. But the HDR update and the added power of the system can render color and shading and everything else, and lighting, a lot better than the standard PS4 can. I've heard a lot of mixed reactions on the Pro as far as people thought it was worth buying it or not. A lot of people are just going to wait for the PS5, which is speculated that it's going to run games in native 4K, which is probably true. I wouldn't doubt it if they reach that point by then. But it all comes down to whether you think it's worth it or not, and not other people's opinion. For me, it was definitely worth it. I play enough games in the wintertime after the bike is up, which obviously it still isn't up yet, that it is worth it for me. The $400 wasn't a huge hit to my wallet. It wasn't something that set me back at all. It wasn't so expensive that I had to have second thoughts about whether to really buy it or not. It was just, it came out and I knew what the price was when they announced it. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to get it. It's not a big deal. And from what I've seen so far, I believe it has been worth it. And this is just the initial games that have been updated for the Pro. They haven't even made a game specifically for the Pro yet. I think Event Horizon is a game coming out soon that was built off the PS4 Pro platform. But the games that are out like right now, they received the update, but it's still not a fresh build from the ground up. So even with that said, being happy with it now, there's even more coming down the road. I'm hoping that the new God of War game that hasn't even received a release date yet will be built more for this, and Santa Monica being a PS4 or a PlayStation-owned studio, oftentimes they do very well graphics-wise. By the time the game is finished with its final build, they look really good. So the simple answer is, if you do enough gaming, you have a 4K TV, and it's HDR compatible, then yes, it's definitely worth it. I would buy the PS4 Pro. But if you're a casual gamer, you have a 1080p TV, you really don't play that much, then I would hold off on it for now, wait for the PS5, or wait for the price to drop, or whatever you're more comfortable with. But I've enjoyed it so far. I'm going to get a lot more use out of it over the next few months. And I may do another video maybe this spring after I've actually had more time with it and more games have come out for it, to give a more broader review on it than what I've been able to today, with it only being out a few days. But for now, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna have some teriyaki chicken at the mall and enjoy the rest of your day.